Wasn't doing too bad against Gervonta Tank Davis Saturday night until the 6th round when Davis provided the knockout punch heard around the world. Davis retains his WBA secondary title at lightweight, also picked up Santa Cruz's WBA title at junior lightweight since the fight was contested at 130 pounds. Max Kellerman, is Tank Davis the most exciting fighter today?
Yes, he is. He's the most exciting. And claims that he's number one pound for pound are ridiculous. He's fought, he fought Yuriorkis Gamboa. A lot of guys have beaten Gamboa already. He's toward the end. Now he fights Leo Santa Cruz, who's a very good fighter, multiple division belt holder, but he's the naturally smaller guy moving up. He's not a big puncher. And yet, halfway through that fight, you're like, who's going to win? Is Tank going to go the distance? He keeps getting clipped. And then Tank ended it with the knockout of the year. In a year with a bunch of great knockouts, that was the best knockout I've seen. He's the most exciting because he is vulnerable, because he's not unbeatable. He's got crazy fast twitchies. He can box, but he's so aggressive and he's vulnerable enough to counters that it's actually exciting. People forget when you call him Mike Tyson, a little Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, when he was young and in his prime, was so dominant.
Bless you.
The reason he got knocked out by Buster Douglas in Japan is because you couldn't sell the fight in the U.S. because people are like, I don't want to see Mike Tyson in another 90-second blowout. That ain't Tank. Tank got that Tyson-esque fast twitchies and the power, but because he's getting hit in exchange more, because he's not one of the best 5 pound for pound fighters in the world, at least not yet, you believe there's a chance the other guy can win. And that makes it even more exciting, to say nothing of the pace he sets, the level of action, the level of bombs that are thrown by Tank, and as he fights better opposition, the number that will be coming back at him. Yeah, he's guaranteed thrills for the dollar.
I do not believe he's the most exciting fighter in boxing. I think we saw that dude a couple of weeks ago in Teofimo Lopez. He's got knockout power. He's got one-punch knockout power, a lot like Tank Davis. The brother can box, and we saw him go against a guy that was widely considered the best pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. The only debate was whether it was him or Terrence Crawford. And I put Terrence Crawford up there as an incredibly exciting fighter because he goes after it. He's got knockout power. He's got extraordinary boxing ability as well. I can't sleep on that. I love Tank, and I get your point about exciting. My issue is that he was going against a smaller fighter who I did not believe could hurt him. And I think Tank knew that, which is why he kept walking him down and stalking him pretty much throughout the fight, Max. Tank can box. He can fight. He's a champion. He's got a lot of heart. I respect where you're coming from with him because he's up there. But when I think about Lopez and what we saw against Lomachenko, we saw his boxing ability, we saw his elusivity, and we know what he's got in terms of power in both hands, and he comes for it. It ain't like he backs up. He stalks you too, and he comes to finish you. When I think about Tyson comparisons, when I think about knockout power, when I think about excitement, when I think about those things, I think about Teofimo Lopez. That would be my choice ahead of Tank Davis.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta like Lopez. Obviously, when Max making the argument for Tank, it made me feel a little differently about it because I was like, well, I was thinking about good, So to me, I was thinking Errol Spence. I was thinking Canelo Alvarez. But I was like, those fighters are good. It's not necessarily always exciting, not always a great, entertaining fight because they can become so dominant. And so Tank kind of gives you that. But I'm a Bud Crawford guy. Bud Crawford and Max will know exactly what I'm talking about. He kind of gives you some Max Holloway feels from UFC. He's a dude, he can box, he understands boxing, but it's not about protecting himself. It's not about making the fight not be entertaining or keeping myself out of harm's way. It's I'll walk into a couple of punches. I'll get into the fight in order to get where I need to be. And so every time he's on, every time you get an opportunity to watch him, you're going to see a high level of boxing, but you're also going to see a guy take some risk and put himself in some positions to get hit in order to get to his opponent. And so I would take Bud Crawford, then I would go Tank, then Teofimo Lopez if I was going to have to rank those guys on my type of excitement and entertainment watching them.
I agree with what you guys are saying about these other fighters. Teo and also Crawford are incredibly exciting and also action-packed. By the way, I still think Lomachenko. I love watching Lomachenko fight. I'd love to see him fight Tank. Here's what it is for me, though. When Roy Jones and Floyd Mayweather and Shane Mosley and Oscar De La Hoya were all in their primes, they were very exciting to watch, usually. And they were fantastic fighters, elite pound for pound. Arturo Gatti was the most exciting fighter in the world because it wasn't just what he was dishing out, it was what was coming back. It was his vulnerability that put you on the edge of your seat. And I predict that's the kind of career Tank is going to have. Edge of your seat kind of fight after edge of your seat kind of fight when he fights the elite. All the fighters I mentioned, like, and you guys met Teo and Crawford are ahead of him pound for pound. But that and saying excitement goes both ways. It's not just one guy dominating the other. But you know, Crawford and Teo are also exciting, and they are elite pound for pound.
You know what's going to be exciting tonight? Bucks Giants. I'm going to make a good dinner so it's not so depressing. I'm just going to carve up
from the
to deal with the pain. I mean, what else are you going to do? Because it's going to be